Welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page, guys. We're happy to have you here. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us comments, do all the stuff.
What are you waiting for? Let's go. I got a drug addiction to feed.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt, joined by my New Yorkian. Is that how you say it? New Yorkian? New Yorker. Nueva Yorka. Friend Adam Glyn. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm excited. I just got Lindsay Lohan.
Dude, that's huge.
Yeah. Honestly,
Huge.
Cool. Very cool. It's cool. Listen, I've seen Lindsay a bunch over the years. I've covered her a ton over the past years. I've covered her during the bad times of Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been with her when she's been arrested. I've been at her house in Long Island. Like, I've never been the good guy with her. Today was the first time I actually interacted with her, and she was actually really nice, and she looks great.
Hell yeah, dude. Are you going to... When are you putting out the video so people can see it?
I'll put it out now. By the time this episode comes out, it'll be live.
Cool. Link it in our private Facebook page or something so people can see it. All right. Before we jump into the Raw Rundown to get you guys caught up on all things entertainment news, we're going to read out a couple reviews to say thank you to those folks that are leaving us reviews. So here is our first one. This comes from Aaron. It says, "Addicted, heard you on Dude's podcast and absolutely love you guys. I've been addicted, binging this every morning drive, hot girl walk, and free minute I have. Your voices are very pleasant and your friendly banter is comforting, almost like getting the juice from your older brothers. Keep up the good work," from Aaron. Thanks, Aaron. That was a good one. All right.
That was a nice review. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. During your hot girl walks. Get your hot girl walks onto our voices. All right.
For sure.
This one says, "Senior fan," from Bobby302. "Love this podcast. Never miss your podcast. I am a 70-year-old fan. Keeps me up to date on what's happening. You are the best." Fuck yeah. I love our 70-year-old fans. Thank you.
That's our fan base. There we
go. And for leaving the review on iTunes. All right. One more. Pick a number 1 through 5, Adam.
3.
1, 2, 3. Oh, the longest one. Of course you did that to me. Shira in Gold Bar says, "Hook, line, and sinker. So glad I saw Dax on the Jason Show a little while back. He mentioned the Hollywood Raw podcast and the Facebook group Off the Record. I plugged in right away and started listening and joined the Facebook group. I love how real and down-to-earth you both are. I love hearing all your stories and experiences about the celebrities. I've never been one to listen to podcasts, but you guys have me hook, line, and sinker. You guys rock. Thanks again," from Shira in Gold Bar. That is phenomenal.
Shira.
And thank you for joining our Facebook group because we're having a lot of fun in there. You know what, Adam? Someone actually called out the fact that on Aaron's episode this week, we didn't bring up Gilbert Gottfried as one of the people that was on our podcast that have passed away since then.
You know what? You are right, and we forgot about that, and I think that's very good to the community for bringing this up. That shows you we have some listeners.
You know what I also want to do? So I want to try a little social experiment, Adam, and
yes, I want
our followers out there. So we have reached out to Tori Spelling a couple times, and we are not getting an answer. So I'm wondering if you guys and us can team up together to start flooding her social media pages to say, "Tori, come on the Hollywood Raw podcast. The guys want you. We want you." And they've been reaching out. How do you think we do this, Adam?
So this is what I ask. I want you guys, our audience, who you guys have been great, to go to Tori Spelling's social media, her Instagram, and just write on her last photo. Everyone to DM her, but also write on her last photo, "You should go on the Hollywood Raw podcast."
Yes.
That's what we're doing. We're gonna as many people as possible say, "Hey, you should go on the Hollywood Raw podcast." Just DM her, put it on her
Facebook, put it on her IG, her Twitter, wherever you can. Just send her a message, because I think if she sees quite a few people reaching out and saying, she can be like, "Oh shit, this is a good podcast. Lots of people listen to this. I should go on it," because we've reached out numerous times to her.
We want it to work, but hopefully it works. And if you guys could help us out, everyone just kind of ambush her and just say, "Hey, you should go on the Hollywood Raw podcast. These guys are awesome. They've been asking for you to come on the podcast." And I think if she sees it, maybe she'll come on. Because what happens is for us is like we reach out to these celebrities to come on the podcast. We go through their teams. And it gets kind of like bullshit. Sometimes, majority of the time the publicists don't help out. And then we have to get in touch with the celebrity directly, and then they will come on the podcast. Tori's one of these people that we just want to try something out with you guys and our loyal fan base and audience, just kind of reaching out to her and just kind of ambushing her with as many messages as possible and see if she comes on the podcast.
I think it'll work. I could see this working. If it works, we're going to go after some other people, because I think we can get some big people. The more we go after them, I think we could get some big people. All right, let's jump into the Raw rundown. Thank you guys for your help in advance. We will be doing it as well, so have no fear. We will do it, obviously, from the Hollywood Raw, all of our social handles, plus our own personal ones. And let's get Tori. Hashtag let's get Tori.
Yeah. Let's start with, exactly. All right, let's start with our number 10 story of the week.
All right, number 10 story, Melinda Gates. She got a new man in her life. So she has not been seen out with anyone since her very, very high-profile divorce from Bill Gates. And keep in mind, she is one of the richest women in the world. I think her net worth is somewhere around $3 billion. But she's been dating this new guy, according to some sources to TMZ. His name is John Dupree. I guess he is a former reporter, touts himself as a strategic communications specialist with 35 years of experience in broadcasting, writing, video production. He was a TV correspondent for Fox News back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Melinda and this guy, John, went to a basketball game. I don't remember who the hell was playing. A Nets Celtics game back in, I want to say, April of this year, and they were photographed there. So they've been together for a while, going under the radar. Apparently, this is now kind of come to light, and we know that they hit up the Pelican Hill big hotel and resort in Newport Beach recently. But this is a big deal. Her divorce from Bill Gates was massive, highly publicized, and now she's, well, I was going to say on the market, but off the market.
Yeah, I mean, she's like one of the hottest bachelorettes available. Honestly, it's she's a hot commodity. She looks good for her age, and this guy is actually he's definitely the exact opposite of Bill. Not just in obviously financially, but built. This guy, he looks like he could,
he looks like a big bodybuilder or something. Yeah, you know what he reminds me of? Kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger-y.
He does. He looks healthy. He looks strong. Bill's just kind of nerdy. His look with the collar shirt. You kind of, this guy is the exact opposite of Bill. It's almost like an in your face to Bill. I could get a good looking guy, and listen, she's worth a lot of money.
Get it, Melinda. Get it.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I get it. All right, number 9.
Number 9, David Beckham shares a video of the Spice Girls reunion that happened for Jerry Halliwell's birthday party. So a bunch of them got together for the 50th, for Jerry's 50th. I mean, Ginger's 50th. Everyone except Mel B. But David Beckham was out on the dance floor with the ladies, and one of their songs came on. Say You'll Be There came on, and they were all singing, dancing, having a great time. And he was recording the whole thing. And he basically posted on his social medias with girl power on it. Said celebrating Ginger this weekend has even been more special to capture this moment with the girls, a lifetime, a friendship for a life, and then said, hey, Mel B, we missed you. So I don't know why Mel B was not there, but it was dude, this would be pretty cool to be there and see this go down. I'm not the most massive Spice Girl fan by any means, but to see all of them together, having fun, dancing, hugging all over each other, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Victoria when they did their tours, Victoria was not touring with them. So just to see them all together, but having fun, and it wasn't gross, and it seemed like it was genuine fun. And it wasn't there was cameras everywhere. They were trying to film it for themselves. You know what I mean? That's what I liked about it. It wasn't Sporty Spice had her cell phone, oh my God, I gotta get this video for my own social media. It was they were in the moment, and David, of all people, was the proud husband, filming them kind of hanging out, having fun. It was genuine. And honestly, if I would have had to guess which Spice Girl would not be there in person, I would guess Mel B.
Right? But why?
I just because she's been...
No, I lied.
No,
I would say out of all of them, I would have said Victoria wouldn't have been there in person. Mel B has kind of been to quite a few events, and she's always up for it. So But I don't know where
she toured with them. She toured with them, but I think this was not like a public performing appearance. This is more just like a genuine friendship type thing. And I just don't. Again, I don't know Mel B. Personally.
Cool,
however,
though.
Just based on her.
Okay. How about
I
this?
Feel like she
you know what I want to
say?
How hot is Baby Spice? Good God,
dude, they all look good.
But
they all look good.
But Emma looks unbelievable.
She looks
this
great.
woman doesn't age. She looks so good. Okay,
she does look good. All right, number 8.
Number 8. So Olivia Culpo, if you remember, she was the I guess what was she? Miss USA?
She was Miss Universe, I think.
Miss Universe.
Yeah, she was.
So she was the one that was dating.
She was Miss Universe.
Yeah, she was Miss Universe. She was the one dating Nick Jonas. They had a very public relationship. Well, she's on her new show talking about how she couldn't even afford groceries after they broke up. And she kind of dives into the fact that, like, a relationship with a super celebrity is one thing, but what you don't think about is the after effects of once you break up. She felt like her whole persona, her whole brand, everything was centered around the relationship, and she had nothing once he broke up with her. And there was a bunch of financial ramifications as a non-famous person being dumped by a famous person. So that's what she goes into. The TLC show is called The Culpo Sisters. But she said, like, I had no brand, I had no money, and I was in love. And then she said, but when he broke up with me, I was kind of left with no sense of identity. She said, my whole identity was him, which is very common story for a young person in love. And I just remember night after night looking up at my ceiling in my apartment that I couldn't afford, thinking to myself, how the hell am I going to pay rent? And she said she couldn't even afford groceries at the time. So anyway, it's just an interesting look of someone. She says a non-celebrity, but she was a celebrity at that point. She was just as famous.
Yeah.
Not just as famous, but famous.
I'm sorry, I don't find this story to be accurate. I think there's a little bit of a fib here. She was like on top of the world. First of all, she was very charismatic. I remember I was her first interview at the Trump Hotel. I think this was either after she became Miss Universe, and they're celebrating her. I interviewed her, and she was super sweet and nice. But like everyone knew she was gorgeous. She was just sort of like just had a personality and stuff. And I think Extra offered her a job, and she turned it down to be a host on Extra. So for her to say I couldn't afford groceries, I'm like, you knew what you were doing. I mean, when's the last time we heard that this girl was dating someone who wasn't famous? It's been a long time. So she knows what she's doing. That you couldn't afford groceries. You like,
but she doesn't. She doesn't say at any point during this of like how much he was providing for her or anything like that. So I don't know how much money Nick was giving her. You just kind of assume it watching that that's the case.
Yeah, but it's like really groceries. Like, come on, you want to see struggling? Come by my place, okay? It's like really, you were struggling. It's such bullshit. This is her just trying to make a show, which I'm surprised of all things. The show, like the Culpo sisters are very pretty, they're very attractive, they're fun, they're cool, but the network, this reality show they have coming on, it's not like on like a huge platform. This is on TLC of all channels. Like,
that's
I'm surprised
a huge
this didn't
platform. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you know what the other? Do you know the other shows on TLC is like My 500 Fat Life, like shit like that.
Yeah,
so I'm surprised.
Some good stuff. Hoarders.
Yeah, but I'm surprised their show didn't end up on E, didn't end up on Bravo, somewhere along those lines.
All right, let's get on to the next one.
All right, sorry, I was just venting, guys. Sorry about that. All right, number 7.
So social media star Nikita Dragun, she was placed in a male cell after an arrest, which her rep said was dangerous and quite disturbing. So if you are familiar with Nikita, how do I say this? I want to be respectful with my presentation here. So she is a transgender beauty influencer, but legally a female. So that is the part that is disturbing a lot of people, the fact that she was put in a male unit, which goes against their protocol. Their protocol mandates that transgender inmates are classified and housed based on safety needs and gender identity. So why she was placed with other males in jail makes absolutely no sense. And so we know that according to the arrest warrant, or the arrest documents, she was at a luxury hotel in Miami, walking around the pool naked, throwing water on the hotel staff, and that's when the cops got called, and she purposely threw water on them in protest. I mean, it just seems ridiculous, but that doesn't mean she should be placed with the male inmates at the end of the day.
It's a wild story. I mean, I want to know exactly what was in her system or what she was doing. I mean, I get it, it's Miami, but like, what were you doing exactly? Like, how did this night end up like that? And but it is kind of weird that she's going in that sort of. I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky because she. I mean, it could be a very scary situation for her to be in that. I mean, it is going to be a very scary situation for her to be in that type of prison.
100%, not prison, jail, but 100%. Okay.
Jail, sorry. Yeah. I guess, yeah. No, is it prison
jail.
Or jail? I guess it's
not prison. She didn't commit. She just
jail. Well,
she just walked around naked.
Prisons for a long time. Jail's quick. Yeah. I mean, her. Can you imagine in the showers? Her people be like, "Oh, dude, this is the first woman I've seen in years." So. Yeah. All right. There's not much to say about it, but hope it works out and hopefully find out the truth of what was in her system and how did her night start, because that's a wild night. All right. Number 6.
So Rebel Wilson reveals the meaning behind her newborn daughter's name. So her newborn daughter is named Royce Lillian Elizabeth. And Rebel said, listen, this is the daughter that she had via surrogate earlier this week. And she described her as a little beautiful miracle. But she said that she wanted a name that started with R. And that's how she came up with Royce. And she calls her Roycey. But she said that the name Elizabeth is her middle name. And that Elizabeth, she was named after Queen Elizabeth. So there's like a royal connection there. She comes from Australia, which is a Commonwealth country through a Commonwealth country. And so Queen Elizabeth rules there. And so that is how she had her name. And she wanted to pass on that strong female name to her daughter, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, this is like all really quick for Rebel Wilson. Because I feel like for me, it was only not that long ago, she was dating a billionaire. Do you remember she was dating a billionaire, a guy? And then all of a sudden she came out, she met a girl, said, you know what, I found someone who makes me happy. It's a woman. And then all of a sudden she just had a baby. So congrats to Rebel Wilson. A lot happened in a very short period of time, but she's happy. I'm happy. And now make another comedy. Go to work. Let's go.
Go to work, girl. By the way, she did an interview with People where she said that there was some really bad news she got while filming a movie a couple years ago where they had harvested her eggs. Up until that point, none of the eggs had survived being thawed out. And she said that was a really hard time in my life. Just knowing, thinking I'm never going to be a mother because everything that I had saved up or tried wasn't working out. I just thought that was an interesting side note that they had in the article. Interesting.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, good. That's cool.
Right.
Good for her. I mean, I'm not. What's your favorite Rebel Wilson movie?
Ooh, I would say. Well, I mean, Pitch Perfect is good, but what was the one where she was like the brother and sister, like the weird brother and sister? Was that
Pitch Perfect's the only movie I could really think offhand that she was in.
What's the weird one? Like she's her and her weird brother. God,
couldn't tell you. See, that's the thing is I can't remember. For me personally, the only movie I can remember Rebel Wilson was in was Pitch Perfect. I can't think of anything else that was memorable that she was in.
No, this one's a big one. I've got to look it up.
I did see her on. She was. I was seeing her on.
Hustle was pretty funny. Let's see. It's Bridesmaids.
Oh, I forgot about that. I guess there's so many people in that movie that you forget about that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she before that I remember seeing her on. This was years ago. I would see her on dating sites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was kept her photo would come on my dating sites years ago, and I was like, oh, she was the only celebrity I would say. It was Rebel Wilson. Nice. Okay. I didn't go out with her, but okay. All right, number 5.
Number 5, Julia Fox says. Basically, dating Kanye West affected her acting career, and not in a good way. So, if you remember, Julia famously dated Kanye back in February of 2022, or earlier this year, right after his divorce or was filed for divorce by Kim Kardashian. God, I can't talk today. Again, these Friday episodes, they get me every time, Adam. They get me every time.
It's a lot of work. I get it.
Yeah, so her acting career was actually kind of on the up and up. She had done Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems. And then she had filmed No Sudden Moves. So like she was making some good moves in the acting community. And then she dates Kanye. She becomes so high profile. And then her phone stops ringing. And she was like, what the hell? So she thinks that the big reason was that she was dating Kanye. She had become so kind of all over the news that no one really wanted to work with her at that point. She talked all about this on Emily Ratajkowski's High and Low podcast. And I think she's saying, I mean, her name is way more famous now because of it, but I think her acting career took such a hit that she probably wouldn't go back and date him if she had the chance all over again.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, we could have saw this coming. I would recommend you not do it. She became bigger. Her personal life became bigger than her, her private life, became bigger than her work life. And that's the worst thing you could do as an actor. Like I always said, Lindsay Lohan was a great actress. She was a great actress. She was super talented. But when Lindsay started to kind of come out of it and she was partying a little bit more, we, as a director, I felt like you couldn't see her as the character you wanted her to play. You saw her as Lindsay Lohan. So it just didn't work out. And that's for Julia was like, yeah, you just, you were very outspoken. You kind of showed your true colors. So I would be very surprised if Julia kind of gets more sort of acting work again. She now has become like sort of like a social media star in some ways. Like it was just not a good look. It wasn't the best thing to do. It was just weird.
Is that a worse look than
and she spoke
her
about
crazy
too much
eye makeup?
That stuff is a little freaky. Yeah, that's too much. I mean, it's hard to bounce back from that. It really is. Like the best thing to do if you want to become an actor, you want to be an actor or do you want to be famous? There's two different things. And if you stayed the acting route and you just kind of not put yourself in that sort of scene, you could do pretty well. And unfortunately, she kind of became part of the tabloid
There's
scene.
a hit and miss. I think Kanye was too crazy because, I mean, if she would have dated Brad Pitt, this would be a different situation.
Sure, exactly. But Kanye was like, and it was just weird. Overall, it was just weird, Yeah. And we all saw it coming. All right, number 4.
Number 4, Shakira. She is moving to Miami with her son. So if you remember, she had a very public splitting with her longtime boyfriend, Gerard Piqué. And now there is a new custody agreement. I guess the two of them signed off on it, sat to it in a 12-hour long meeting. You remember her and Gerard are not on the greatest of terms. We had seen them at one of their kids' basketball games or some kind of sporting event a little while back, and they were not communicating. It seemed pretty tense. Well, it seems like this agreement is best for the kids. Their main focus is the 8-year-olds. So they are moving from Barcelona where they've been, they're 8 years of living in Barcelona. Now they're going to be headed to Miami, where all of her family, her side of the family is. So that is kind of the main thing is let's go around, be her family and hang out there. And this is going to be the best thing for their sons.
Yeah, they had a pretty nasty breakup. And this guy, I mean, he does not care. He does not care one bit. I mean, I know he's moved on and people love Shakira and that's
that
a
whole situation
strong
is so
fan base.
Messed up, dude.
Yeah.
How do you cheat on Shakira? What the fuck is wrong with you? You psycho.
Yeah, but you know what? There's one celebrity, I heard it on Stern. I'm not saying it. The hottest girl out there, the prettiest girl out there. Some guy is sick of making love to her.
I have heard that as well. I've heard that story.
So I mean, who knows what was going on behind the scenes, but this guy, he does not care that he looks like an asshole, though. This guy does not care.
If you're not in love with someone anymore, all good, but get a divorce, separate, don't cheat on them. Come on. Especially so public, because you think how horrifying that is for Shakira to just see the photos, see news, see all that, and you're just like, really? You couldn't have just got a divorce from me rather than cheat on me in public? Come on.
It was just very public, and this guy just did not care. It was actually spiteful. All right, let's move on from this. Let's go to number 3.
Jennifer Aniston opening up about all of her pregnancy rumors and infertility throughout the year. She had this big, really public interview she did with Allure. I guess this is their last actual print magazine issue, and she got to be the final person on the cover. And she opened up saying, she did in vitro a bunch and got to a point where she goes, you know what? I'm just not going to be having kids. And she said all those years of, is she pregnant? Is she not? Did Brad break up with her because she's not going to have kids with him? And, she then had another marriage. Oh, she's not giving him babies, so he's over it. She's like, it was really hurtful, really damaging. It messed with her a lot mentally. She's like, I tried. I could not get pregnant. It was really hard to endure, but then on top of it, with all the media scrutiny and everyone kind of saying, oh, she's pregnant. No, she's not. She is not. And she's like, it was a mental mind F having to deal with that. And now she's at a point where she's like, you know what? It is what it is. I've made peace with it. I'm clearly not going to be a mother, or at least, I guess, give birth. I don't know if she's thought about adoption or any other form of taking a kid in, but she just said, it took her a long time to get to a place of peace in her own mind.
Yeah, it's, I mean, that's the story. But why do people still do like these, like Kim Kardashian? They always do like random interviews with random magazines. Now I know Allure is pretty decent sized brand, but still, like they're still doing these interviews with these magazines that nobody reads them. Like these just most random editorial stuff.
Jen, you could have come on here and said the same thing, and we would have just as much publicity.
But is it like how many times? When's the last time you got a paper magazine?
That's why they're getting rid of paper magazines, because no one's buying them. No. You ever see? That's the name of the magazine was Paper. Wasn't that what it's called? Paper magazine. Paper.
They still. Yeah. Who buys this shit? It's such.
Magazine.
Yeah. No. But who buys
I don't know.
That stuff?
I have no idea. Because when do people leave their houses anymore? You normally, if you want to look at what's on Allure, you're looking at it online. Just like I'm looking at this article she talked about and did a whole interview online. I'm not even picking up the actual physical copy any longer.
Yeah, who's going to go out and buy an Allure magazine because Jennifer Aniston did this interview that you got all the points out? Now, I know in our Facebook group that Matt LeBlanc, we talked about, I think it was last week, we talked about Matt LeBlanc, who has a new book out, and he talked a lot of... Oh, I'm sorry. No, Matt LeBlanc. Matthew Perry, sorry. Matthew Perry has a new book, and last week we talked about Matthew Perry.
By the way, I'm going to be buying that book. I've already decided I just need to find time when I have time.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely getting that book. There's too many stories that have come out that I am like dying to actually... I will probably be doing the digital audio version because that seems easier. It's like a really long podcast. Yeah. But I think I want to get it.
But it sounds like that's, one of our people in our private Facebook group, Off the Record, said, hey, I know Matthew Perry said a lot in the media about the book, and you thought you heard everything and all, but the book, he even goes into it further and says a lot more. So I'm actually excited to hear I'm not going to read it, so I'll hear from what you have to say about the book.
Well, I didn't say actually physically. I'm going to get the book, but it'll probably be the audio version of him reading it to me. So I can listen to it to and from work or something.
Yeah. For sure. All right. What's next?
Number 2. Chris Evans is named People's 2022 Sexiest Man Alive, and apparently the happiest person on the planet is going to be his mom because she can brag about it. I don't know. What are your thoughts? There's not much more to say about that. He did a whole interview about like how his mom could be happy, blah blah blah. But what do you think, Chris Evans, Sexiest Man Alive? You give him the crown?
No.
Who would have you given it to?
I don't. Here's the thing. I'm very curious how they petition themselves, like how that kind of works. Like, are the publicists petitioning their own clients to be on that list? I would say the guy who's having a year, and I just think it kind of works with everything. A guy who I thought would probably be it, and just because it's more global, would be Trevor Noah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not my sexiest man. But I'm just saying, I think Trevor Noah just works because he's intelligent, he's smart, he's funny, he's witty. I think that just kind of goes work. I'm just surprised by
like this. Almost seems just like an easy, just like we didn't have to be too creative about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just think it was just like, really, Chris Evans? Like that's who you guys want of all the people out there? I just thought Trevor Noah just kind of.
I would have almost. Has Harry Styles been it? Because I almost would have said Harry Styles would have got it before Chris Evans would have got it.
I could see him turning it down because he just doesn't want to be seen as that anymore. It's just too much. He's got too much stuff going on. He loves it.
Don't give me
Okay,
that.
he probably does.
He would have posed for a photo shoot. Would have been this epic photo shoot of him in like cool ass crazy clothes that are like
with his fingers through his hair,
gender bending and like that would have been, I think, a good photo shoot.
Sexiest man, but I'm wearing a dress. Like that's how he just would have made it like very cool.
He would have spiced it up a bit. I like it.
This is our first weekly. I don't even want to get into why I love this number one story of the week, and I hope you guys like it too because I was so excited for the story. Dax, what is the number one story of the week?
Number one story is the death of... No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing a death this week, which is nice.
That's why
Lauren
I like it.
Conrad and Kristin Cavallari and Stephen Colletti all back together. They did this for Kristin and Stephen's podcast. Lauren Conrad finally a guest on the podcast. It's called Back to the Beach, and she sat down with the two of them and talked all about the show, and they apologized to each other. They actually spent quite a bit of time apologizing to each other. Lauren was saying, I rewatched this and I was so horrified and to like see myself calling you a slut. And I really just want to apologize. I was young. I was insecure. We had the producers kind of pitting us against each other. And she's like, that wasn't the case. I said dumb things and I really want to apologize. And Kristin said the same thing back to her. No, I called you a slut in later episodes. And I would never say that. And I think Lauren ever said, I wouldn't say that to a woman yet, especially not a girl. And she goes, I've grown up a lot over the years. And so I feel bad. And then they talked all about, the things that the producers were having them do. And I thought one of the most interesting parts was that, the whole love triangle was centered around Stephen Colletti. However, it was Talon Torriero who was actually hooking up with the girls behind the scenes, and both of them were, and they kind of laughed about it. And I don't know, just really interesting. For anyone who loves Laguna Beach or watched the show, this is like the crowning episode that they're going to have from Back to the Beach, the podcast.
Yeah, it was just nice. It was just nice to see them in the room together and have a talk as like adults. And, Kristin apologized. Lauren apologized to Kristin.
They
and
both
it was just
did.
like, yeah, they both apologized. It was just nice to see them all together. It's just cool. Like I don't know about you, Dax, but I love to see like where are they now stuff and just to see like where they are now, but like get along. It's just great. It's cool.
And Lauren said no to this show a couple times. And then what it took was, I guess, when she had COVID, she went back and like rewatched a bunch of the episodes and was like, again, embarrassed by a lot of it. She just thought it was so cheesy. But then she listened to the pilot episode of Back to the Beach and how well they worked together and how well they like presented the show that she was like, okay, I'll be a guest on it.
Great move. Good, smart move for her, but it's also just nice. It's nice to have a little bit of closure. And it's not closure. Agreed. It is closure. It's just because, again, they were, in some ways, they were very young. And MTV kind of, in their own TV way and kind of fucked up way, put them up against each other. They know what they're doing. And it wasn't, I could see them not even realizing what was going on. But it's like,
you have to remember, back when that show was on, it was the biggest thing. Those two girls were like A-list celebrities. I remember, and just because I'm in here in LA, Ryan Seacrest was doing an interview. I think it was with like Britney Spears or someone massive. And Kristin Cavallari called on. And he literally hung up with Britney Spears to answer Kristin Cavallari's call. I'm like, what is happening right now? But yeah, they were huge. And I got an interview with Kristin like right at that point in my career, and that was one of the things that helped me get my job at TMZ.
Oh, very cool. Was that the red carpet, whatever?
Yeah, that was the PETA red carpet. She stopped, she talked to me, and
can I tell you something?
She was huge.
I've met a lot of celebrities, met a lot of them. One of the prettiest girls I've ever seen in person as far as celebrity goes was Kristin Cavallari. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, very pretty, very pretty. I didn't get to talk to her though. I never really interviewed her though. And Lauren Conrad too. I've met her, but I never interviewed her. But
And then I ran into Kristin once at like the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. She was super cool. Took photos with my friends. Yeah, she was. She was really awesome.
That's awesome. All right. Well, listen. That's our top 10 stories of the week. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast.
Well, more importantly, make sure you're tweeting Tori Spelling for us.
Oh yes, please make sure Make sure you write to Tori Spelling on social media, on Instagram, DM her, and just write a bunch of messages. And and say, hey, you should go on the Hollywood Raw podcast. Ambush her with, let's overload her with messages saying you need to go on the Hollywood Raw podcast and see if this actually works. Like, it'll be very cool if it works. If it doesn't, if it does, like,
then we try it with someone else.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the next person. But let's try with Tori Spelling right now. I appreciate you guys listening. Check us out on TikTok at Hollywood Raw Pod. We're also on Hollywood Raw Pod on Instagram, Hollywood Raw Podcast on TikTok. We're on Facebook. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. And we'll see you guys next time.
Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best thing you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.